Hello everyone and welcome. Wherever you're joining us from, across Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, the America, or anywhere around the world, we're truly honored to have you with us today. This is Project Trinity weekly podcast, where we explore how technology, opportunity, and human potential are coming together to reshape the future of work. My name is Valerie Jeruto, and I'm excited to be your host for today's conversation. And for those of you who may be joining us for the very first time, let me briefly introduce what Project Trinity is all about. At its core, Project Trinity exists because of one simple truth: talent is universal, but opportunity is not. Across many parts of the world, there are capable, driven individuals, but limited access to infrastructure, connectivity, and pathways into global economy. What Project Trinity is doing is changing that. Through solar-powered digital infrastructure, high-speed connectivity, and AI-enabled environments, Project Trinity is not just connecting communities to the internet. It is connecting them to real economic opportunity. Today, we are actively operating in Haiti and Kenya, where we are seeing remote communities transform into active contributors in the global digital economy. And beyond that, we are continuing to expand to many different remote parts of the world, and also bringing this model to places where opportunity has never existed before. We are seeing individuals become AI native digital operators, working, collaborating, and delivering at a global level, right where they are. And that brings us to today's conversation: AI native workforce. Our remote communities are becoming global digital operators. Now, I'm joined by an incredible group of voices who are directly part of this transformation. Let me introduce them. We have Mercy Jepto, bringing a leadership and community perspective, helping us understand how this model is shaping people, systems, and opportunities at community level. Joining us as well is Sharon Capelli, who will walk us through the personal journey, the transformation that happens when someone moves from local context into a global connected work environment. So, Mercy and Sharon, you're welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mercy Jepto, a Project Trinity associate specializing in operation, compliance, and sustainability. As our moderator Valerie have said, today's topic is AI native workforce and how remote communities are becoming global digital operators. We will explore how AI is shifting opportunity from local boundaries to global participations and how systems like Project Trinity are helping individuals move from access to real contribution in the digital economy. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Valerie. I'm Sharon Capelli, a Project Trinity Associate working in data intelligence, knowledge, and insights. Honestly, this journey has changed a lot for me, not just in terms of skills, but how I think, how I work, and how I see opportunities. Thank you.
Wow, that was a great introduction from our guest today. Yeah, let's now dive into the real conversation. So, Mercy, one of the things we are seeing through Project Trinity is how the emergence of an AI native workforce is beginning to reshape what opportunity actually looks like in remote communities, moving from limitation to real participation in the global economy. And I would love to hear your perspective on that. How have you seen this shift redefine opportunity at the community level?
Okay, thank you so much, Valerie. That's a really powerful question. And we are already starting to see this shift happen. An AI native workforce means people who are growing with AI and using to create values, not just consuming technology. And for remote communities, this completely redefines opportunities. Before, opportunities were limited by location. What's around you is what you could access. But now, with AI and digital skills, someone can work, learn, and earn globally while still living in their community. So the mindset changes from what jobs are here to what skill can I build completely globally. And this is where Project Trinity comes in. Through access to solar powered structures, connectivity, and digital training, it opens doors for young people to participate in global digital economy. You will find youth using AI tools for things like designing, research, and online work, creating income and impact without leaving their communities. Hii inaleta empowerment na pia ina build confidence ya vijana kuona kwamba wanaweza completely globally. But it's not just about technology. It's about access and support. Without this right system and mentorship, tech up can still exist. That's why Project Trinity focuses on building a full ecosystem of opportunities. So I can say it in a simple terms that an AI native workforce transforms opportunity from something local and limited into something global, scalable, and inclusive. And that's game changer for remote communities. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's great, Mercy. That definition of opportunity is where transformation becomes visible, where communities begin to move from limitation to participation. It is in this shift that barriers, once seen as a permanent, start to loosen their grip and also start to make space for new voices, ideas, and possibilities to emerge. So, yeah, that's great, Mercy. And also, to our listeners, before we continue, we also have a new guest joining us now, who is Chumba Nicholas. You're welcome to the podcast, and we also want to hear your insights in today's conversation. So, Chumba, welcome, and please introduce yourself to the audience. Okay, as Chumba fixes the his mic, yeah, we can continue. Chumba, we cannot get you. Yeah, so as Chumba has some technical issue, let's continue, Mercy. Chumba will be back after fixing the technical problem. So, Mercy, we were talking about moving from limitation to real participation here at Project Trinity, which is creating a global economy, of how Project Trinity is creating a global economy. And that was a great we heard from you. It was a very it was a very great explanation of how Project Trinity is doing the work. And we also see that from that point that you've said, we also see that as participation grows, so does the sense of ownership and agency grows here at Project Trinity. People are no longer passive observers of change. They become active contributors of it. Yeah, that's what our Project Trinity is shaping outcomes that reflected their needs, the aspiration, and the identities of the communities that Project Trinity is in it. So, and in that collective movement, we see that transformation stops being an abstract concept. It becomes something tangible and also something that people live by, people experience, and also it's sustained. So laying that foundation for progress that is not only inclusive but enduring, and that's what Project Trinity is mostly doing. So before before we continue, Chumba, you had a technical problem. Yeah, please come up again, introduce yourself to the audiences. Yeah, so as we continue, okay, sorry to our listeners following us right now. Sorry for this, some small technical problem. So we also have another guest joining us right now, who is Ambrose Mnangat. Ambrose, you're welcome to the podcast, and please introduce yourself to the audiences. And we're glad you are joining us for this conversation. Yeah, Ambrose. Ambrose, also we cannot get you. Yeah, so yeah, let's continue. Sharon, you're welcome to the podcast, and also, yeah, introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Valerie. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharon Kapeli, Project Trinity Associate, working in data intelligence, insights, and knowledge. Honestly, this journey has changed a lot for me, not just in terms of skills, but how I work and how I see opportunities. Thank you.
Wow, that's a great introduction, Sharon. So let's also start a conversation with you. So Sharon, let's build on the shift at the community level that Mercy just shared. There is also a very personal transformation that happens when someone moves from a local context into a globally connected context, and also AI enabled work environment. So, and I am interested, I'm very curious to know your journey. How has your identity evolved as you become part of this global workforce?
Thank you, Valerie, for that question. I think the biggest shift for me has been how I see myself. Before, before I felt more locally defined, like my opportunities were limited to where I am. But now, I see myself as part of something global. I'm not just learning anymore. I'm actually contributing. And that shift from learning to producing a real value has really changed my confidence and how I am approaching my work. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome, Sharon. You know, that identity shift is very powerful because Project Trinity is not only building infrastructure, but it's shaping individuals who can function confidently within within the structure. So it's not only creating enough systems, but it also creates platforms and pathways. So and that the real transformation happens when people see themselves they are capable of navigating, influencing, and also thriving in those spaces. So this shift redefines how individuals relate to opportunity. They move from uncertainty to self-assurance, from dependence to to autonomy, from exclusion to into inclusion. Yeah. So skills are no longer just an abstract tools. They become instruments of participation, enabling people to contribute to clarity and purpose. That's that's awesome, Sharon. Thank you for sharing that. So, Mercy, building on practical execution, one of the most compelling aspects of what Project Trinity is doing is the visible transformation that happens as individuals move beyond local limitation and begin to engage in at a global level. So, and from your perspective on the ground, what are some of the shifts you've observed as people make that transition into global engagements?
Yeah, sure, Valerie. And it's something you can actually see every clearly as it happens. One of the biggest shift is mindset. People move from thinking what can do what can I do to what can I offer globally. There is more confidence, more ambition, na mtu anaanza kuona opportunities like beyond their immediate environments. You also notice changes in skills and behavior. Individually becomes more proactive. They start learning digital tools, using AI, and exploring online work. Hawangoji opportunities, tena they create them. Another visible shift is economic. Even small global kicks or remote work starts bringing income. Na hiyo inaleta real impact kwa maisha yao na familia zao. It may start small but it builds momentum. Through Project Trinity, I don't want to forget Project Trinity. These changes are even stronger. With access to solar-powered structures, connectivity, and training, vijana wanatoka being locally limited to become globally changed. Wanapata exposure, wanachenga skills na wanaanza kushiriki katika digital economy. You also see environment in communication and confidence. People became more comfortable collaborating, expressing ideas, and working with others across border. So the shift is not just about income, it's about identity. Mtu anajiona sio tu kama part ya local community but as part of a global workforce. So I can conclude that the transformation from limited to limitless is where the real impact is. Thank you, Valerie.
Wow, that's awesome, Mercy. We see that those visible shifts are exactly how Project Trinity creates real, measurable change within communities. Thank you for thank you for sharing with us that. I also see that Ambrose and Nicholas are back. Yeah, please introduce yourself as we continue with the conversation. Test your mic so that we go on. Yeah, you still Chumba, you still have a problem. Ambrose, can you test your mic? Check your mic. Yeah, so let's continue. Sharon, following on just what Mercy has shared, that shift from local to global engagement, there is also an internal transition that has to happen, moving from simply learning or participating to actually thinking and operating like a digital professional. I'm interested in that moment for you. What mental shifts was required for you to begin working as a digital operator within this environment?
Thank you, Valerie, for that question. For me, it was realizing that just having access isn't enough. You can have internet, you can have tools, but if you are not intentional, if you are not structured, nothing really changes. So I had to shift from just doing tasks to actually thinking about outcomes. Like, what value am I delivering here? That mindset changed everything. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome. That mindset evolution is what allows individuals to move from participation to performance. It's the turning point where showing up is no longer the goal, but excelling becomes the standard. What begins as a learning to the system, learning the system transforms into mastering it, with individuals bringing intention, creativity, and confidence to everything they do. That's so awesome, Sharon. Yeah, that's great, and thank you for sharing. So, Mercy, picking up on the role of AI and the structure, one of the most important distinction within Project Trinity is that it goes beyond simply providing internet access. It actually creates pathways into real economic participation. And from what you've seen, how does this model enable the shifts, moving from being connected to becoming active participants in the global economy?
That's very important question, Valerie. Because having internet access alone is not enough, the real shift happens when we move from access to participation. First, this mode focuses on skills. It's not just about being online, it's about knowing what to do online. People are trained in digital tools, AI, and practical skills that can relate into real work. Na unajua, hapo ndipo mtu anatoka kuwa consumer na anaanza kuwa creator wa value. Secondly, there is strong focus on structure and guidance. Through mentorship and organized programs, individuals are shown clear pathway, how to find opportunities, how to work remotely, and how to position themselves in the global market. So thirdly, it's about tools and infrastructure. With reliable power, internet, and access to the right platforms, people can consistently show up and deliver work. This consistency is what builds trust in the global economy. So, through Project Trinity, actually, all these elements come together. It's not just giving people connectivity, it's building an ecosystem where they can actually use that connectivity to earn, collaborate, and grow. Vijana wanajifunza, wanajaribu na wanaanza kushiriki kikamilifu katika digital economy. And finally, there is a shift in mindset from I have internet to I can complete globally. That confidence is what turns access into real participation. So I can put it in simple terms that the model works because it combines access, skills, support, and mindset. And that's what moves people from being online to part of the global economy. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome, Mercy. Thank you for sharing that important information of what Project Trinity is doing. We all heard from her that Project Trinity is not just about opening doors or making resources available, but it's about ensuring that once these doors are open, people are fully equipped and empowered to step through them and take part in meaningful ways. So for those who don't know what is Project Trinity, so Project Trinity is designed to bridge the gap intentionally, the gap between the urban that's in between the urban communities and the rural communities, because most of the times we see that people in very remote communities lacks this access to internet, access to good infrastructure. So Project Trinity is here to at least bridge that gap and also change the life of the communities living people in the communities living in this underserved underserved regions. So Project Trinity supports people beyond the initial point of entry, and also Project Trinity helps people to build the confidence, the skills, and the understanding needed to move from being included to being involved. So it's a Project Trinity works in inclusivity. Yeah. And in that shift, opportunity stop being something distant or something that you just hear in a theory. So it becomes something lived, something that we experience, and also something that continues to expand. So, Sharon, let's get back to the topic about AI. So, Sharon, staying with that practical application of AI within Project Trinity, AI is not just something we know that AI is not just something that you learn, but as you learn, it becomes part of you and how you actually produce and deliver work every day. So, and I would love to understand your experience. How do you integrate AI into your daily workflow in a way that genuinely improves your output?
Thank you, Valerie, for that excellent question. I use AI almost like a partner in my work. It helps me think faster, organize ideas, and even challenge how I approach problems. So instead of spending too much time figuring out basic things, I can focus more on insight and improving quality. It's not AI is not replacing what I do. It is helping me to do better. Thank you.
Wow, that's very important point, Sharon. That AI is not replacing her, but making her to do work better or to become better. That's very great. So to those who are following us, who are listening to us right now, yeah, we want to see your comments. Do How often do you use AI? Do you use AI in your, in your daily, weekly? How often do you use AI? So we want to see them in the comment section, because we all see that how AI is evolving rapidly. And if you always use AI, which AI tools are you do you mostly use in doing your work? And also, does AI improve your productivity? Yeah, we want to see them in the comment section. Yeah, so let's continue. Mercy, yeah, let's now talk about the mindset and the discipline. So we see that one of the things we see here at Project Trinity is the strong systems alone are not enough. They have to be supported by structure and the accountability to create consistency in how people operate. So, and from your leadership perspective, how do you structure and how do structure and accountability shape individuals into reliable, consistent digital operators within this environment?
That's a very powerful question because structure is really that turns potential into consistency. You can have access, skills, even motivation, but without structure, it's very hard to sustain results fast. System creates clarity. When people have clear workflow, how to learn, how to work, how to deliver, it removes confusions. They are not guessing what to do, but what starts building consistency. Secondly, the environment matters a lot. This is true. When you are in a space where others are also learning, working, and growing, it pushes you to stay disciplined. There is sense of focus and shared energy. Mazingira inakuwa supportive sana, not distracting. Then comes accountability. This is what really separates intentions from execution. When someone knows they have targets, deadlines, or a team depending on them, they show up differently. Wanakuwa more responsible na consistent. Through Project Trinity, this is where the real transformation happens. It's not just giving people tools, it's creating a structured ecosystem with training programs, operational systems, and mentorship. Individuals are guiding on how to actually function as digital operators, not just learning. Over time, you start to see people becoming reliable. They meet deadline, communicate well, and deliver quality work that what global economy requires. So, in simple terms, structure provide the discipline behind the opportunity. It turns assets into actions and actions into as consistent performance. And that's what shapes strong digital operators. Thank you.
Wow, it's where systems meet people. That's great, Mercy. Thanks for sharing that to our audience. So, Project Trinity creates reliability within a distributed workforce, and That's what we can see. So, Sharon, building on that structure and consistency within Project Trinity, being globally connected, it's not just about the access. It's something that shows up in your work. You can communicate and deliver every day. So, and from your experience, what does being globally connected actually mean in your daily work?
Wow. Thank you, Valerie, for that great question. To me, being globally connected means my work doesn't stay local. What I can do actually, sorry, what I do can actually be used anywhere. And that comes with responsibility. It means I have communicated clearly, deliver quality work, and stay consistent because I'm operating at a global level, not just locally. Thank you, Valerie.
Wow, that's awesome, Sharon. Yeah, and we see that we have understood what being global to you means. That the connection is no longer just in theory from theoretical, but it's lived daily within Project Trinity. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, just an interrupt. So before we continue, if you are finding this conversation valuable, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, if you're watching us right now in YouTube, yeah, let's reach 200 subscribers, please. Just like that button, hit that subscribe. Yeah, and it will really help us to grow these platforms and bring more powerful, impactful conversation like this to you. And we will also love to hear from you. Where are you joining us from? And what part of this conversation resonates most to you? Yeah, we want to see them in the comment section. Yeah, so let's continue. So, Mercy, building on the distinction between access and the global operation, one of the defining strengths of Project Trinity is that it doesn't just stop at learning. It pushes towards real contribution and a global standard. And from your leadership perspective, how do you ensure that associates are not just developing skills, but are consistently delivering work that meets those global expectations?
Wow, nice question. And that's very powerful question for me. Because the goal is not just learning, it's real contribution to global standard. At Project Trinity, we ensure this by shifting from a learning model to a performance model. First, everything is practice based. Associates are not just taught concepts. They work on real tasks, real projects, and real deliverable. From early on, they are exposed to the kind of work expecting in the global space. Hapo ndipo learning ingekuwa inatoa ni output. Secondly, we set clear standards and expectations. Quality, consistency, communication, these are non-negotiable. Associates understands that they are not preparing for the global economy, they are already in it. That mindset alone raises their level of execution. Thirdly, there is continuous accountability and feedback. Work is reviewed, improved, and refined. Associates are guided to meet deadline, communicate professionally, and deliver results that can stand anywhere in the world. Wanachengwa kuwa reliable, not just skilled. And this is where the real impact of Project Trinity comes in. It creates an environment where associate transforms from learning with potential into professionals with proven ability. They gain confidence because they are actually doing the work, not just studying it. You start to see individuals who can collaborate across borders, solve real problems, and consistently deliver values. That's what defines a global standards. So for me, Valerie, this I can put in a simple terms that we ensure contribution by combining real work, high standards, and strong accountability. And through that, Project Trinity doesn't just train people, it produces capable confidence and globally com- competitive operators. Thank you.
Wow, that's a powerful insight, Mercy. Project Trinity does not just train people, but produces globally workforce. That was a very strong point. Yeah, we can see from the what Mercy has just shared that Project Trinity is not just training people with skills, but it also connects those people to apply the skills and knowledge to to work globally. Yeah, and that's very powerful because that's how we all know that that's how trust is built through consistent and high quality work delivery. Yeah, and that's what Project Trinity is doing. So Sharon, building on that focus on global standards, one of the key shifts within Project Trinity is that work is no longer measured only within a local context. It's aligned with expectations that go beyond the immediate environment. And from your experience, how do you manage those expectations and maintain high standards while operating within global workspace?
Thank you, Valerie, for that powerful question. For me, Valerie, how I manage my expectations. One, I focus on discipline and structure. Also, I make sure I understand what is expected. Then, I respect my timelines, and I double check my work for quality. Even though I'm working from a remote environment, I remind myself that my output has to match to global standards, and that keeps me accountable. Thank you, Valerie.
Wow, that's a great insight, Sharon. You double check your work so that you ensure it aligns with the global operators or those people you're working for globally. So, and we all know that that alignment with global expectations is what transforms local talents into global operators. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Sharon. So, Mercy, so building on the idea of consistent collaboration across locations, one of the most powerful outcomes of the Project Trinity model is how individuals' progress begins to translate into broader community transformation. And from your perspective on the ground, what changes do you see that do you see at the community level when people begin engaging in global work?
Yeah, sure, Valerie. Because the impact goes far beyond the individual. When people begins working in global connected system, the first major shift is economic, and that's fact. Income starts flowing into the community from outside, which strengthens local households and even small businesses kidogo kidogo. Na hii sasa wahenga wakijua watakuwa wakipendua kichwa wakisema kidogo kidogo uchasa kipapa, ama mtu atanimalizia hiyo kwa comment. You see improving living standards and more sustainability. Then there is a shift in mindset across the community. What once felt impossible, working for global combines in earning online, now becoming real and feasible. Others begin to believe if they can do it, I can too. That belief spreads. You also start to see growth in skills and knowledge sharing. Those who gain digital skills often pass them on informally, teaching friends, siblings, and peers. The community becomes more digital aware and capable. So I don't forget Project Trinity. Through Project Trinity, this transforming becomes more structured and sustainable with access to infrastructure, training, and systems. Entire communities began to involve, not just individuals. Vijana wanakuwa role model, and you can see that. And a new culture of learning, discipline, and ambition starts to form. Another key shift is in identifying and pride. Communities that were not seen as remote or limited becomes to see themselves as connected and relevant in global context. That changes how people carry themselves and how they plan to the future. And finally, there is a ripple effect in opportunity creation. As more people engage globally, new ideas, collaborations, and even local initiatives starts to engage. So I can also conclude this question that when individuals connect globally, the whole community begins to raise economically, socially, and mentally. And that's where the real lasting impact is. Thank you.
Wow, that's a great insight, Mercy. That when we when an impact is created globally, then that community starts to rise in economic level, socially, yeah, and yeah, Project Trinity is doing that. It's making transformations becomes feasible at a larger scale. Yeah, that was a very great insight. So, Sharon, building on that community level impact within Project Trinity, individuals grow individuals' growth plays a key role in driving that broader transformation, especially as people begin to operate within real global work environments. And from your experience, what skills have become essential for you to function effectively within these systems?
Thank you, Valerie, for that question. Okay. For me, one of the skills I will say is a critical thinking is a big one. Also, communication, because your work needs to be understood by different people in different places. And honestly, adaptability. Things change fast, especially with AI. So you have to keep learning and adjusting as you go. Thank you, Valerie.
Yeah, that's great, Sharon. Things change fast with this AI. So, and we have to keep upgrading with the AI and evolvement. We also have to evolve. If you don't upgrade, you get outdated. Yeah, we all see that these skills are what defines the next generation of workforce capability, where AI is integrated into every workforce. Yeah, so we all see the importance of learning this AI, yeah, and also integrating it to what we are doing in the workforces. So, Mercy, let's now build on the reality of navigating challenges. One of the defining characteristics of Project Trinity model is that it operates in an environment where tools, especially AI, are constantly evolving. And from your leadership perspective, how do you sustain growth and consistency within team while adapting to these continuous changes?
Thank you. Because with AI, changes is consistent, so continuity has to be intentional. At Project Trinity, we focus on building adaptive system, not fixing skills. First, it's about learning mindset. Associates are trained to stay curious and continuously upgrade their skills, not just matter not just master one tool, but learn how to learn. Secondly, we rely on structure, system, and workflow. Even when tools change, how we work, communicate, deliver, accountability remains consistent. That stability is key. Third one, there is a continuous training and knowledge sharing. New AI tools are introduced and explored together, so growth becomes collective, not individual. We also emphasize mentorship and feedback, ensuring quality stay high and aligned with global standards. And this is where Project Trinity has real impact. It develops resilience operators, people who are confident with change, consistent in delivery, and ready to the global digital economy. So I can say that continuity comes from strong system, the right mindset, and cultural of continuous growth. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Strong systems are important. That's great, Mercy. Yeah, we see that Project Trinity is also evolving in this. The Project Trinity model is evolving to fit the model to be a model that is future ready. So this continuous evolution is what keeps the Project Trinity model future ready. Keeping updating with AI, Project Trinity model also evolves with the new technologies. As the new technologies evolves, also we see that Project Trinity evolves. Yeah. So Sharon, building on the idea of continuous growth in a rapidly evolving environments within Project Trinity, there is a constant balance between learning and delivering, adapting to new tools while still maintaining consistent output. And from your experience, how do you stay consistent in both learning and delivering results within these systems?
Thank you, Valerie, for that powerful question. I have learned that consistency comes from a small daily habits. I try to learn something every day, apply it, and just keep improving step by step. It's not it's not about doing something big once. It's about showing up every day and getting better. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome, Sharon. That balance is what defines professionalism within this AI native workforce. Yeah, that's awesome. Balancing. So, Mercy, building on that, building on the definition of that, what stands out in the Project Trinity model is that it's not positioned at a as a one-time intervention, but something more sustained and evolving. So, and from your perspective, what are the key elements that make this a long-term workforce solution rather than just a short-term opportunity?
Oh, wow, thank you. And that's a very important question because the difference between a short-term opportunity and a long-term situations is sustainability. From my perspective, what makes this model long-term is that it's builds on system, not trends. First, it focuses on skills that evolve. Instead of training people from one specific job, it equips them with digital problem solving and AI driven skills that can adapt as the global market changes. Hapo ndipo sustainability inaanza sasa. Because mtu anaweza kukua pamoja na industry. Secondly, it's supported by structured and environment. So through Project Trinity, associates hawafanyi kazi peke yao. They are part of an ecosystem with training, mentorship, na accountability, and you can prove that. That consistency is what turns effort into a career path, sio tu opportunity ya muda mfupi. Thirdly, there is a strong emphasis on real practice. Associates wana contribute kwa kazi halisi, wana meet global standards na wanajenga experience over time, na hiyo experience inafungwa mlango mingi zaidi inafungua mlango mingi zaidi. I mean that. And through Project Trinity, it has a great impact that makes this event stronger. Inabadilisha mtu mmoja tu, it transforms communities, inachenga mafumo ambao unaendeleza kusalisha talents na opportunities kwa muda mrefu. So in simple terms, this model ni ya muda mfupi, ni ya muda mrefu because it builds capacity, consistency na mfumo endelevu, not just short-term success.
Wow, that's awesome, Mercy. We see that this is where sustainability becomes central. Yeah, Sharon, building on that idea of long term impact, one of the most meaningful ways to understand this model is through personal transformation, how opportunity shifts at the individual level. So, and reflecting on your journey within Project Trinity, what has changed most of your life in terms of opportunity?
Thank you, Valerie, for that great question. First, the biggest change is how I see opportunities now. Before I felt limited, like you had to wait for it. But now I feel like I can actually create opportunities for myself with the skills, the tools, and the environment we are in. I'm not just waiting anymore. I'm participating, contributing, and growing. And lastly, Valerie, I think what this really shows is that talent is everywhere. It just needs the right environment, tools, and mindset to grow. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome. That was a great conversation, Mercy and Sharon. So before we, as you're about to wrap up, any last comment, any last advice that you will want to leave to our listeners? Yeah, feel free.
So thank you, Valerie. I also say thank you for the followers and the fans who are following us. We say thank you for your likes and comments. So for me, I have a conclusion here. As we conclude, the AI native workforce is showing us that remote communities are no longer limited by location. They are becoming global digital operators. So through skills, systems, and support like Project Trinity, access is turning into real contribution in the global economy. At the core, this is about people, opportunity, and impact. Thank you, listeners. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to our listeners, our moderator, our followers. Valerie, you did a great job. Continue with that spirit. So, with my conclusion, to according to today's topic, being part of an AI native workforce has transformed how I think, how I work, and how I see the future. It's not just about technology, it's about unlocking human potential and global level. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, as we come to a close, what we've seen today is not just about potential, it's about transformation. Through Project Trinity, individuals are moving from limitation to participation in the global economy, from access to the real contribution. So, and this is happening right now here in Kenya and in Haiti. And also, Project Trinity is expanding into other remote parts of the world. This is what AI native workforce represents, not defined by location, but by capability, structure, and opportunity. To our guest, Ma- to our guest Mercy and Sharon, thank you for sharing your journey. And to everyone listening, this is an invitation to rethink about what's possible. Because when a global work becomes locally accessible, we see that everything changes. I am Valerie Jeruto, and this has been Project Trinity Weekly Podcast. Opportunity is no longer a place you go, it's something that you can build. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.